Yes, indeed. Yes, welcome back to the weekend wrap up. I am Rudy D'Dude. Thank you. I love us. I love us. I love us. Hey, let's continue on being productive, constructive, progressive, with structure. With structure. Yes. Yes, the marathon relay. Hey, it's a labor of love. Founder, Dr. Lenora Grant. She stated that on Wednesday night at the fireside chat with the African American Federal Executive Association founders and past presidents as they kicked off the 20th anniversary of its founding this month. The organization's mission is to support and promote the advancement of Black Americans into and within the senior ranks of the federal government. Federal employees at the GS-13 through the Senior Executive Service SES levels or equivalent in defense and intelligence agency nationally are open to join. To help its member rise through federal ranks, the African American Federal Executive Service conducts career and leadership development program. End quote. As our nation becomes more diverse, AFI's mission is to ensure that federal leadership at the highest levels reflect the diversity of talent that is abundant in Americans. That was stated by President Tyra Dent. You know what? I'm gonna start covering. You know what? Every organization from here on out, whether it's since this year is about professionals. We're gonna cover. We're gonna do our research from the surgeons to the dentists to the agriculture to the architecture, engineering. We're gonna put that to work. We're gonna put that to work. Also, United States Marine veteran Dr. Chester D. Thompson was appointed as Midland Innovation and Technology Charter School first Chief Executive Officer. The Board of Trustee President Jerry Hodges stated, his background in education and business makes him uniquely qualified to not only interact with students and parents, but also work with local corporate partners, all of whom will ensure our school's success. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead. Noted international scholar on workplace bullying, Dr. Lee P. Hollis, founder of Patricia's Berkeley LLC, has been awarded the prestigious Dr. Ivy G. Jones Medallion Award at the Morgan State University. The medallion emblem is one of the highest honors granted to Morgan faculty, recognizing excellence across the areas of teaching, research, service, leadership, and character. Reflecting vividly in their professional lives the qualities distinguishing the individual whose name the emblem bears. Congratulations, Morgan State, Morehouse College alumni, and highly respected business leader Mr. Commode Witherspoon will join the Shift company as the new Chief Executive Officer. This new CEO brings to the company years of experience in high-growth industries, including retail, healthcare, and food service/restaurants. During his career, he has held leadership roles with a variety of companies, including United Care, Yummy Bear, Yummy Brands, and Target, where he most recently was the Senior Vice President of Operations. That's what's happening. Tuskegee University alumni, United States Attorney for the Southern District of Ohio, Kenneth L. Parker, announced a Department of Justice settlement agreement with Ohio-based retailer The Kroger Co. The agreement, secured under the Americans with Disability Act, ADA, will eliminate barriers preventing people with certain disabilities from getting information about COVID-19 vaccination appointments online. End quote. All individuals deserve a full and equal opportunity to access services like vaccines. This office will continue to partner with the Department of Justice to ensure that equal access. True indeed. True indeed. That's what's happening. Go ahead, sir. Continue on. The new director of the Columbus Recreation and Parks, Miss Benita Reese, has more focus on not just the public parks, but also on the public health. The Savannah State University alumni stated, "When we talk about wellness and public health, there are so many components, and it's team programming, and it's the regular nutrition component, and then you have the physical component, and then there's mental health. I think a lot of us during this time, the pandemic, not just as adults, but as children, we've dealt with mental health. And then we look at the pandemic itself. How does that really impact recreation? We have to maybe lessen our participants in our summer camps and some of our programs. However, we've been able to really look at and focus on outdoor programming. One of those programs is Walk with a Doc, which occurs on the last Saturday of every month. Ms. Reese continued to say, you've got a doctor there that's able to give nutritional and health component piece to a person, lessening maybe the medical issues that they have, how to eat right, and focusing more on the individual's whole being. So I think that the recreation goes hand in hand with public health, because it's not just about the pandemic, but it's about the longevity of good health. So it's working with our public health here, in which we have a great relationship with, in which we will continue. Good deal. Good deal. Yes, it's one thing to get healthy, but it's another thing to stay healthy. You got to be a great steward over your body. Yes, that is absolutely true. All right, now let's talk about the entrepreneurs. Miss Yonda Miller, a New Orleans native, a wife, a mother, and co-owner of Way Down Yonder Beignets and Coffee, is set to open downtown on February 15th at 386 East Main Street. Let me say that again. 386 East Main Street in Columbus, Ohio. The new concept will focus on a popular menu item from the original eatery, the beignets. The coffee shop will also have its own signature coffee and continue to serve up New Orleans cuisine, but this time centered around breakfast and brunch items during the first 6 hours of the day. The remaining hours will be dedicated to beignets. Oh, please let me know. Please, if you can email me, let me know. It's in the description. If you do have a location in New Orleans, hey, Cafe Du Monde, I apologize, but hey, I'm trying to show my child economic consciousness. Anyway, when you're researching the William McCoy, you might run across various individuals, from a notorious prominent bootlegger to an Oregon politician with a tremendous legacy as well. However, the latest William McCoy, founder and owner of VIA, is focusing on training electronic vehicle charging professionals. VIA is playing a big role in recruiting, training, and deploying the green power workers of the future, electricians who will be needed to install and maintain electronic vehicles chargers across the nation. Go ahead, bro. That's what's happening. That's what's up. Innovation, baby. Innovation, and having vision to see the future. That's good. That's good. Fort Valley State University and Tuskegee University, the Tuskegee University alumni and owner of the Critter Fixer Veterinary Hospital, Dr. Vernard Hodges, will be back for the third season of Critter Fixers, Country Vets. Along with Dr. Terrence Ferguson, the National Geographic Wild will follow them as they help animals of all shapes sizes, and species at their practice in the rural Georgia. We'll be back with new episodes starting March 26th. You know what? That'll be tight and that'll be good for the kids to watch as well. Those who are interested in animals, the care of animals. That's what's happening. Hey, we all have our thing. We all have our part to do. Even in Mr. Tachugi, and please forgive me if I pronounce your name incorrectly, but the owner of the Tucci Polo Incorporated continues to thrive since relocating the company to Houston, Texas, where during the pandemic, the independent designer has continued to expand his ground business. During Black History Month, Tucci Polo highlights the success of Black-owned businesses throughout the U.S. and the growing impact of Black enterprise on fashion industries. True indeed. I really have to step my part up financially because them Browns. Let's look at that one again. Man, no, that's tight. That's nice. That's very shy. Unfortunately, though, I don't know if I can afford the clearance price. But hey, when I step my part up, as soon as I step out my jet, what you got on? I got on them Tucci polos. Yes, indeed. Now, you said he's gonna celebrate the success, highlight the success. You know what? I'm gonna do the same thing. I enjoy jazz music. I love jazz music actually, and I will have to do my research on it because there's there's artists out there of the past and present that have their opinion on the word jazz. So I really have to do my part to define it. But like many things currently right now, the NFL. Well, you know what? I said it last week, and I'll say it this week, and I'll continue saying it. Who are you enriching? Where are you sending your talents? All right, let's get into it. There's this story that I would like to share this week, and I'm going to share a story every week about somebody. And this one is Dillard University in New Orleans native, Mr. Harold Battiste. All for One. Written by Kalamou Yasalam. When Creole French writer Alexandre Dumas wrote the Three Musketeers coined the phrase all for one, one for all, he was not thinking of Black musicians in America wrestling with segregations in New Orleans, but the phrase struck a resounding chord in the soul of AFO founder Harold Battiste Jr., who initially aspired to be a jazz musician, but who instead became the single most influential force in the development of late 20th century of New Orleans jazz. Harold Battiste had a vision so advanced that even when he articulated, some people could not grasp the concept of Black people controlling the music they created. When we went to City Hall to get our license and legal paperwork, they kept saying, "So you want to open a record store?" They just couldn't believe that we wanted to start our own record company, he said. But in the early 60s in the Deep South, astounding as the concept of Black musicians owning their own intellectual and cultural creation may have been, Battiste had far more in mind. I guess you might say my emphasis was on all. All meant owning the publishing. All meant scouting for new talent. All meant writing our own history. All meant, well, everything. AFO succeeded beyond his wildest dreams. Within a few months, they produced a million-selling hit record, Barbara George, I Know. They also released the first recording featuring seminal New Orleans musician, the great Ellis Marsalis, James Black, Edward Blackwell, and Alvin Battiste. Indeed, one of those ironies that seem to characterize black life in America, their success led to their demise. Major companies raided the AFO stable, and tempting offers to relocate to the West Coast also deplete the AFO ranks. Time out for a second. It's a capitalist system. It's a capitalist country. So, money talks, everything. Everybody's not going to be about the vision, and you got to understand, everybody's not going to be about the vision, and everybody's not going to be about the sacrifice. Everybody's not going to understand the marathon relay. But let me continue. I'll save that for afterward. Nearly 50 years later, Harold Battiste is still a visionary. After producing both the persona and the early recordings of Dr. John, after working with Sam Cooke, after scoring a Hollywood movie in the 60s, and after being one of the first black musical directors of a nationally televised weekly music variety program, the Sonny and Cher Show, Battiste also produced all of the duo's gold records. Battiste returned to New Orleans ready to reactivate AFO Records and ready to cultivate a new crop of jazz artists. Battiste became a professor of music in the University of New Orleans Jazz Studies Department under the leadership of Ellis Marsalis. Battiste released recordings featuring multi-reed musician Victor Goins, currently head of the Juilliard School of Music jazz program, trumpet sensation Nicholas Payton, and legendary vocalist and educator Jermaine Basil. Battiste also released the Silver Book compendiums of AFO's jazz compositions that included sheet music, background information, as well as composers' background biographies and discographies. My goal is to make this music and its history available to anyone and everyone who wants to know about the second 50 years of modern jazz in New Orleans, Battiste said. Although he is well past the prime age of retirement, Battiste continues to remake and renew AFO. Battiste has collected and produced the motherlode of New Orleans modern jazz. If you want to know how early Ellis Marsalis sounded, or if you want the sheet music for a James Black composition, or maybe you just want to read the bio of legendary baritone and tenor saxophonist Alvin Red Tyler, who was one of the founding members of AFO, Battiste revamped AFO Foundation has the answers to your questions. Harold Battiste and the AFO Foundations are keeping the history alive. We will have our website up soon, and then you will be able to see pictures, hear and download music, order recordings, read biographies, and refer to exclusive interviews, Battiste said. Alexander Dumas said a mouthful when he coined the phrase "all for one." Thankfully, Harold Battiste digested the full significance of Dumas' aphorism and created an archival feast of New Orleans music that one and all can acquire and enjoy. Mr. Harold Battiste. A visionary. The more you learn about your heritage and the more research you do, the more you'll understand that this marathon relay, one generation to the next. So everyone, let's continue on being productive, constructive, and progressive. with structure. Until then, I'm going to see y'all next week because
you don't understand. I ain't scared of you, mother.
The marathon relay. Let's all do our part to make sure that the next generation have a good opportunity to get ahead. Until then,